Okay, ready to go? All right, gentlemen. Had a really good week. Our kids are locked in and focused like they were a week ago. So I like where we are mentally, I like where we are physically. We got a great challenge headed down to Knoxville to take on the Volunteers. So looking forward to headed down. Questions?
When you look at Milton, obviously, physically he has everything that they would probably want in that kind of a quarterback. But he's going into a second game now in Heupel's offense. When you look at it from a defensive mind, I mean, is that an opportunity you guys think maybe for to attack a quarterback that's still kind of new in the system?
Yeah, well, he's played a lot of games. He's been in these games, and he's played at Michigan. I think Heupel's as good a quarterback coach, offensive coordinator as you get in the country. I truly believe that. So they'll be ready. They'll make their first game jitters, whatever it may be. They're going to make their best improvement from week 1 to week 2 as well. So you got to be aware of that. What you see on tape is not always what you're going to get. We expect to get the best Joe Milton that that we're going to get, and we got to be prepared for anything. So I think he's a good football player. I think he's got composure. He can throw on the run. He can run, and he made good decisions. He didn't throw the ball into traffic.
Pat, what makes Heupel's offense so tough to face?
Everything. So what makes it? Let's start with the tempo. I mean, you put it on. I mean, they're snapping the ball at least in the first quarter for 7 to 10 seconds, but they're not slowing down much. And fourth quarter they're slowing down just to get out of the game. What they want to do is be high tempo, and I'm talking as fast as you're going to see. They're faster at Tennessee right now than they were at Central Florida. Okay, I want to say it was somewhere between 8 and 9 and 13 seconds. We played them a couple years ago, so they're faster. A lot of snaps at 7 seconds, which is blazing fast. We snapped it this week that fast with the scout teams. We got one GA working the receivers on the right, one GA working the receivers on the left, one guy working the left side of the offensive line, one guy with the right side of the line, someone working with the quarterback and the tight ends. It's like, it's to even get our scout team to do that with all those coaches just holding up cards, just for a right side, left side, inside. Is the preparation it takes just to even emulate the speed was incredible by our defense staff this week. So, and you get Coach Partridge is working on the left side. It's not like we're coaching off the film. We have no time to coach it on the field. You're just coaching. You're just trying to give them the best possible look you can. So our defense staff did a great job. So we have one scout offensive line, so they got to take every reps, and we just kind of set the periods up where they would go. On Tuesday we did 8 straight plays in somewhere between 7 and 12 seconds. Okay, it was kind of. And I'm fast with the watch too. I think on TV they kind of wait 2 seconds and then start the 40-second clock. So I started as soon as that whistle blows. I'm the timer. I'm making sure that the quality of the timing is good. But we only have one offensive line, so they got to go, and then we give them a 2-minute break, and then we go. We get a lot of plays in a 10-minute period.
Phil Campbell told us earlier this week that Nate Yarnell was doing a good job on that scout team. What do you see out of him in that
Nate Yarnell's outstanding. He was the Rocks player of the week a week ago. And, if you had to give it to someone after week 2, you'd give it to him again just because how he operates the offense. And the other guy's been Matt Altsman, our center on the Rocks, has been outstanding too. I'll give him there's times when we've had some centers that just the ball rolls back, it goes over his head. You got to start the play over. 2 weeks in a row, he's been like shooting the snap right back where the quarterback needs to get it. And sometimes you don't have that. So Altsman's done a great job too.
There seems to be an emphasis on spearing this year. There was 4 ejections in the game Monday night. How do you teach your guys to avoid that?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. We've watched those, on videotape. In fact, they're queued up on the TV. We watch them just to make sure. I wanted our defense to watch those so they see, we don't need to lose anybody. You work too hard to be playing with backups in there. We want our best on the field. So, it's tackled the right way. Phil, when you look at what Phil Campbell did in that second play of the game, he had his head up and they got it right. You look at all 4 of those clips from the Mississippi and Louisville game, they had heads down, and again, not only is it targeting, you're going to hurt yourself and you might hurt somebody else. So it's something we coach, and again, we're going to use those lessons from that game as a lesson for our kids to, hey, you want to play, keep your head up, keep you healthy, keep somebody else healthy, and do it the right way. So we've watched those.
On Monday, you said the crowd noise shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, you guys work with sound in the team periods. How do you feel the guys did in that?
I feel good. We got out there. The coaches almost laugh at me. Like I said, is it good enough today? And they're like, Coach, they'll be fine. So As a head coach, you always get worried that, you want to give them as much and as loud as you can get it, and I think we'll be fine there. So we'll find out when game time.
Pat, it's been a long time since Pitt won at another Power 5 school. Is there anything different about going to a place maybe that you're less familiar with, as opposed to, say, maybe Virginia Tech? Obviously still a very hard place to play, but somewhere you're a little more familiar with.
Yeah, I don't know if being familiar with it really matters. It's playing good teams on the road. I mean, it's not easy. Wins are wins. They're hard to get. Okay, everybody's on scholarship on the other team as well. Everybody's working at it. Wins on the road are even harder. Okay, and then when you play a talented football team, and they are talented. I mean, you put the tape on. That's a great job, and they've got talent all across the board. I mean, they got receivers running 4.4s and 4.34s, and 10.3 500-meter guys. Number 11, Jalen. I mean, they got speed all over the place, and you look at their D tackles. They're good. So we're gonna have to play really well to go on the road and get a victory.
You used a lot of running backs on Saturday. Did you get any clarity over this past week on who might get most of the carries?
Yeah. We just got out of that meeting, just kind of getting clarity who's going to be a short yardage back, we're clear.
How many guys do you think you might get double-digit carries? 2, 3?
Double digit depends on how the game's going, but I like to use 3, not 4 or 5 or 6. But we got it down to 3 right now that are going to be the guys carrying it, and it depends on how many runs you call in a series, and depends on how the game's going. If we can run the ball, continue to run it, I'd like to see 2 guys with double digits.
The first 5 series back in 2019 against UCF, you guys had 3 3-and-outs on defense, 3 3-and-outs and 2 picks. How important is it with an offense like that goes tempo to break them up like that and get them out of rhythm early in a game?
It's huge, and it's we've got to get stops like that. 3-and-outs are big. We got it down. When you do an 8-play series, you find out who can handle 8 plays, who can't. If it's 4 or 5 plays, we've got to somehow get that ball on our hash so we can get a sub. If they don't sub, and they have not subbed a lot, maybe they will this week. It sounds like they got one of the receivers, Callaway, back. So if they get another receiver back, maybe they'll sub them so we can sub. Okay. If they run the ball out of bounds, we'll have an opportunity to sub. So all those things are stuff we're prepared for. But if they stay in the middle of the field and they never, that's when things get. I mean, it's bang, bang, bang. So I don't care how good a shape you're in. It's a different deal. And some guys can take more plays than others. So we've got to be prepared for that.
Tough on your D tackles. I mean, those guys aren't really used to sprinting 50 yards to get off the field.
Let's hope they, well, they got to. So, but they're sprinting in short spaces. They move 10 yards a play, right? But it's like wrestling. I mean, they're in a wrestling match and then having to sprint. Okay, so that's anybody that's ever wrestled knows how exhausting that is compared to anything else.
How much time do you think they spent on Pitt special this week?
Probably. They ran it once, maybe twice. They figured we won't use it again.
Just once or twice?
How many times do you want us to work it?
The idea is to make them think about it so they would spend more time on it, right?
Yeah, I don't know. You can ask Josh after the game.
Especially if you use it.
Never know.
Anything else?
When you, a few years ago, I remember you saying when you moved Brian O'Neill to tackle, I just made him a lot of money. Did you think you were going to make him almost $1/10 of $1 billion?
Proud of Brian. That's awesome. He texted me last night something to that effect, but just proud of what he's done. We knew that guy could be a great player, and he talked about convincing. He made the decision. I just recommended it, and our players got to make a decision. But that's awesome for him. I mean, probably not going to get drafted where he got drafted. It's a guy trusting a coach and a staff to put him in a position to be successful, down the road. And, not only does he have a degree, he's making a lot of money, and I'm sure he's smart enough. He's investing that money, and happy for him. That's awesome.
You didn't have to convince him very much, did you?
It took 12 hours. I mean, I talked to him, but I didn't say I need to know now. I
With
said,
a hot light over
think about
top
it.
of him?
Yeah. No, we just talked about it and said, I think it's going to be the best thing for the team. I think it's going to be best for you. Went through some how many tight ends were drafted in the first round, second round. Just gave him a couple years stats of that. And then talked about all the offensive tackles that are drafted in the first round, second round. It's kind of like, that's what you're going to grow into. So he used to set, just to understand, I mean, I don't know if you remember some of these stories, but he used to set his alarm through the night and wake up and eat just to get
Yeah, he
weighed
told us
up.
that.
So The guy's worked his tail off for what he's getting. He deserves every nickel.